Now, when we get there, here's the thing. The lady who owned the house, she was actually having a get-together with a few friends. And the way we entered, I kind of got it. It was like, it had the appearance of being disrespectful. Like I said, they was going through this situation, so emotions was, already running hot. But it's just like they busted right in and then went right past or whatever. And the lady who owned the house, she jumped up like, hey, even though she recognized the young lady because she's renting for her, she's like, yo, what's going on? She was so tight, she just wanted to go right to the room and she's angry. So then one of the guests that was at the get-together, she got up, and I could tell by her demeanor, and I could just tell. See, this is the importance of reading people and having situational awareness. See, I've dealt with all type of people, from the corporate dudes to streets, so I have different experiences with different personality types. But one thing I could tell about the lady who came to approach us, I could tell she was a woman of respect and somebody that you should listen to. So welcome back to another episode of LB Tales from the Hood, and in case you don't know, I'm your host LB, bringing you real stories from my past to not only entertain, but also to educate and just to give you my perspective on a few lessons I learned in life that maybe it can help you with something that you may be going through now or you may go through in the future. So, today's episode is called The Pull-Up, and the situation is as follows. Back in the days, I was hanging with an associate of mine one day, and he was with his lady friend, and she was with her female cousin. Now, the female cousin was going through some crazy situation with her baby father, and she said that, she had enough, she was ready to move out. And since I was the only one with a V, she asked could I drive over the south side to the place that they stayed at and help her move some of her stuff back to her cousin's house. So I'm like, sure, I'm game. I'm like, let's go. So we all loaded up in the V, we headed out the south side. So when we get to the house, we go there, she unlocked the door, she busts right in, she goes to the room, and she's heated, followed by her cousin, my associate, and then myself. Now, when we get there, here's the thing. The lady who owned the house, she was actually having a get-together with a few friends. And the way we entered, I kind of got it. It was like, it had the appearance of being disrespectful. Like I said, they was going through this situation, so emotions was, already running hot. But it's just like they busted right in and then went right past or whatever. And the lady who owned the house, she jumped up like, hey, even though she recognized the young lady because she's renting for her, she's like, yo, what's going on? She was so tight, she just wanted to go right to the room and she's angry. So then one of the guests that was at the get-together, she got up, and I could tell by her demeanor, and I could just tell. See, this is the importance of reading people and having situational awareness. See, I've dealt with all type of people, from the corporate dudes to streets, so I have different experiences with different personality types. But one thing I could tell about the lady who came to approach us, I could tell she was a woman of respect and somebody that you should listen to. So when she peeped the situation, she looked around and she came to me. I guess because I had the calmest demeanor, and like I said, I really had no vested interest in it. I was just basically giving them a ride, but it wasn't my situation. I had no dogs in that fight. Now the associate I was with, he was frustrated, not because of the of necessarily the baby father situation. He was just really frustrated because he said this is not the first time they've been going through this. So he was like, he just was frustrated altogether. Like, man, I really want to be dealing with this. And then, of course, the lady was upset with the situation she was going through with the baby father. And that was, her cousin, of course, was upset because that's her cousin going through it. So the lady comes over to me, and she's like, yo, what's going on? What's good? Do we have a problem here? And, I already knew what that was about. So I reassured her. I said, look, here's the situation. I was with my man. It's his lady friend. It's her cousin. She going through some situation with her baby father. They stay here. She just asked for help moving the stuff out. And I said, I'm just here to help stuff move. So she was like, all right. She said, cool. She just said the way that, we all entered and the way the energy was, she thought it was going to be a problem. And it might have to go some, a certain type of way. And I was like, it's not even like that or whatever. And it's cool. You know what I'm saying? The conversation was very respectful. And here's the thing. And shout out to her. Her name was Cash. Never seen her before that day. And after that day, never seen her a day in my life. But the thing is, she gave me a piece of advice that really, it helped save my life. Actually, I think it helped save my life more than once. It might have been like 2 or 3 times, but here's the advice she gave me. She said that she's seen people get in situations, and she's seen people let their emotions just fly out of control, and she's seen the emotions get the best of them. And she said, next thing you know, somebody's laid out in the ground and they leaking. And she was like, all that could have been avoided. So she said, whenever you're going through something, she said the best thing to do is just take a deep breath, let it out, and if you're inside, go outside somewhere, take a walk around the block. You know, maybe even a little further. But she said when you get back, if you still feel the same way, she was like, maybe take another walk around the block. And by that point, let a cooler head prevail and see the best way to assess and deal with the situation. And I tell you right now, that little piece of advice really saved my life. Because for the most part, I keep my emotions in check. I'm cool all the time. I remain neutral. Hell, actually, most times I'm happy, man. I love life. I love breathing. Especially, here's the thing. I was in situations where, you know, I almost lost my life. If you haven't seen my previous story, go check it out. But one where, you know, I died, I was in the back of the ambulance and I flatlined. So the thing is, since, you know, that time, I've learned to appreciate every single day, because you never know what the next situation is going to bring. You don't know if you're going to make it through the day. You don't know if you're going to make it back to see your family. You just don't know. So you need to appreciate every given moment. So that's why I'm happy. People are like, what's wrong with him? Something wrong with this guy? Happy all the time? No, I love breathing. You know what I'm saying? That situation happened to me back when I was around, I think I was like 15, 16 or whatever, when I was in the back of the ambulance. This is so long ago, because you're talking about this is like over 30 years ago, but it's crazy. So that's why I love life. But there are a few times that I did let my emotions get the best of me, and I almost regretted it. But here's the thing. Like I said, I referred back to that piece of advice that Cash gave me, and I was like, you know what? It was one situation in particular. It's like when it was happening, I could notice that things was going wrong, but I couldn't see the total, you know, I couldn't see how the whole puzzle laid out. I couldn't see the whole play, but I seen certain pieces of the puzzle was not fitting together right. So basically, I was going through something at the time anyway, so that frustration was building, and I almost made really bad moves. If I would have reacted emotionally, I wouldn't have been here, in more ways than one. Who knows? So, like I said, you know, it's best to just let cooler heads prevail. So that piece of advice, like I said, shout out to the OG Cash from Southside, man. You saved my life. I appreciate you, miss. But getting back to the situation, so, you know, she was like, all right, so, you know, once we chopped it up a little bit, she said, cool. She was like, well, just handle your business. You know, we having our get together. It was kind of disruptive, but she was like, I understand they going through something. They was tight. She's like, now that we know what it is, she went back and she explained it to the lady who owned the house. And it was like, all right, just let them do what they're going to do, and they could keep it moving. So I went, helped them move this stuff, packed up, and we was out of there. So, and you know what's funny? Just telling this story, too, it reminded me of another situation in Southside. One day I was with 3 of the guys, and one of the guys in the back of my V, he was like, can you just shoot me over to Southside real quick so I can go check a partner of mine, cop something or whatever. So I'm like, all right, cool. Drive over to Southside. So we looking for, he's looking for the house, because, you know, he's directing me. He's like, pull up here. And he's like, nah, wait a minute. Go a little further. And he's like, no, wait a minute. He was like, actually, it's like another house up. Or well, another, probably 2-3 houses up or whatever. So I'm driving up. And then next thing you know, it's like, I think it was 3 or 4 dreads on the porch. They raise up. And I see one of them, he got the big boy shotty. And other ones, they pull out the blickies. And I was like, oh. I'm like, what's good? So, because the dudes was looking. So the dude in the back, that's when he jumped out. He hurried up and he's like, yo, open the door. He opened the V and said, yo, what's up? Whatever his partner's name is. And dude was like, yo, that's you? He was like, yo, son. He was like, psh. He's like, yo, you can't be rolling up like that. He was like, he said, we ain't recognize nobody, and the way you creeping up. He was like, you know what I'm saying? He's like, yo, y'all could have really got it. He was like, yo, man. He's like, yo, you need the bees. You too tight. He said, come on, we can't play out here. And let me tell you something, man. Southside to me is like a second home. I love Southside. Love it. You know, First Order Rib Shack is one of my favorite restaurants. You know, even though I eat different, I might go there and cop a veggie plate, or somebody in my family might want me to get them a rib dinner or something, so I shoot over there. But I love Southside. A lot of beautiful history. But one thing, if you're from the town, you already know. You're from New York, there's a reason why they call it South Suicide Queens. If you go through there wrong, it's like committing suicide. The way you came may not be the way you leave. You can get your head knocked off your body real quick. Them boys out there and females don't play. Here's another thing too. Like I said, the OG Cash, that was a female. Don't sleep on females. This is why I don't underestimate anyone. No one. Because let me tell you something. A lot of these females give it up just as hard, if not harder than these dudes. I've known females in the past that be knocking out grown men. and they'll did whatever. They was with the knife work. Yo, some of them will pull that fire out and boom you quicker than a lot of these dudes. So you never underestimate anybody. So like I said, but Southside, beautiful place, man. You know, of course it's popular for, you know, stuff that happened back in the days and negative situations, but there's a lot of beautiful history in Southside. There's also a lot of positivity, a lot of beautiful people. Love Southside, man. Love all my people from Southside. So many I can't even, you know, I'm not going to shout out names. I shout out names from the last, not my last video, but a previous video I did, probably 2 or 3 videos before I did, but I said one love to Southside. You know, you always get love from your boy LB. I'm more on the north side of Queens, but like I said, spend a lot of time in Southside, all throughout Queens, man. Actually, I love I love New York. I love the whole New York, all the 5 boroughs. You know what I'm saying? Just, you know, the city. You know what I'm saying? Staten Island. You know, a lot of times they call Staten Island the bastard child of New York, but Staten Island's a beautiful place too. I was through there, man, a few times. I used to drive for Accessorize, so you know I was in Staten Island a few times. Beautiful place, man. You know, people call it that. I don't call it that. I have respect and love for the whole New York. And I got respect and love for no matter where you from. But like I said, right now we on Southside. Love you, Southside. You know, and Southside got a lot of love for your boy LB. I go out there. It's been nothing but beautiful times, man. But basically with the story, I'm going to end it here. I'm not going to drag it on. So you get the lesson, man. First of all, situational awareness. Always be aware of your situation. And another thing is, you want to be careful. You never know who you're dealing with or who you're talking to. That's why it's always best to be respectful when you're dealing with people. You never know somebody's resume. You never know who they locked in with. You just don't know. Sometimes something's going on and, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? A person's about that life and people come up in here on some disrespect and that's it. That's the last breath they ever breathe. So, like I said, man, keep it respectful, keep it peaceful. You know how your boy LB do. I got love and respect for everybody, man, across the globe. Till next time, we're going to sign off with the signature chill. Till the next episode. Catch you the next one, baby. LB out. Peace.